Hello, I'm Jeff Stelling, and this is Football's Greatest Euros. I've been joined by Paul Merson, and each week throughout the tournament, we'll discuss the games and the goals and the headlines around the home nations. We'll also get Merse to list some of his favourite Euro moments and players, and he'll tell you what it's like to be away at a major tournament. Coming up, England top their group, but the fans' belief seems rock bottom. Scotland had the tartan army, but they didn't have the artillery on the pitch as they go out. Plus, we look at the other contenders and pay homage to Luka Modric. Welcome to Football's Greatest Euros. So, Merse, everybody seemed to believe, from the camp anyway, that England's draw against Slovenia was a, quote, a much improved performance. Did you see it that way?
No. Who said that?
John Stones said that.
Wow. No, not at all. No, played it. No, it was poor. You're talking about a team that have got absolutely zilcho chance of winning it. You know, not one of the big boys. And even though we were comfortable in the game, their goalkeeper was never man of the match, was he? You know, there's games, there's ways of losing. There's ways of losing games, ways of drawing games. You know, I see one day God knows how many years ago now, when Arsenal played Moscow in the Champions League, they drew 0-0. The goalkeeper had the best game I've ever seen. You bite your tongue, you go, you know, man of the match, the goalie, 0-0 one of them days. No, not with England. No, you know, the goal's disallowed. He's a mile offside. We didn't even have to go upstairs. So, no, it wasn't great. If keep on playing like that, it won't be enough.
The reaction of the foreign press was interesting because Bild in Germany said 3 lions, it's more like 3 kittens, and Marca in Spain said England would improve by sacking Southgate and installing Pep Guardiola mid-tournament. Now, that's not going to happen. We know that's not going to happen. But do you think it would make a difference in England's performance?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't, Jeff. I think these players like your Fodens and people like that, and I hear people going, oh, Foden, you know, why is he not playing like he does at Man City? He's worked on every day of the week at Man City. They have patterns of play that everybody in his team's on the same wavelength. I see a pass at the game against the last game against Slovenia. He comes inside and he goes to play a little ball to Bellingham. And Bellingham's gone that way, and he just wants him to stand still, and you see him go like that, and you're like, they're not on the same wavelength for players.
But why do other teams manage that then?
I don't know, maybe because they're not, and I don't mean this disrespectful, but the best teams in it have been the lesser teams. If you think, you know, like Switzerland's have been decent, your Austria's have been decent, you know, teams like that, the reason is because they're not great players, they're not top players, so you don't have the wavelength, you know what I mean? They're not really on FM.
But I could argue with you and say Germany, Spain both had great tournaments so far, and they have got top players.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Germany haven't played anybody, have they? Played Switzerland and had to fall over the line.
Neither have England.
No, we haven't. But I know what you say. I still think we got every chance of winning it. Again, it's turned out like the Euros and the World Cup. The draws just opened up for us. So for me, I still think my problem was when we got there was going to be our defence. At the moment, we haven't let in a goal. We've let in 1 goal. I know teams haven't had a go at us, and I still don't think teams will have a go at us. I don't think until the semi-final and the final, I don't think anybody has a go at us up to then. I don't see in the next round, and I don't see Switzerland or Italy having a go at us. So for me, it's going to be one of them things where we've got to break teams down. I think it'll be 3 hits.
Mm-hmm. So breaking teams down, that's been the issue, hasn't it? I mean, 2 goals, 9 shots on target in the entire tournament so far. How can that happen with the array of attacking talent that we've got?
I mean, I don't think we get out enough. If you watch, I think the more I'm watching it now, and I'm a massive fan of Declan Rice. I like Declan Rice. I think he's got to play further forward. He doesn't get on the half turn and lose his marker as well as a Rodri and someone like that. And I mean that when Stones and Gay have got the ball, you have the forward there from the other team, and Declan Rice never gets into the right position. He always is standing either behind him or he comes in front of him, where if he gets it in front of him, it makes no difference. And I think that's a problem as well. I think because Declan's not, he wants to get forward, and rightly so. I think he's much better when he's taking the game to the other team. that's why I think we're not getting out as quick as we should get out, and I think that's because of him not sort of knowing the position right.
Isn't that purely down to the coaching?
Yeah, no. I think, again, then if it was Pep Guardiola, I would say yeah, because he's played in them positions, and he would say, Gareth is a defender. Who's been our best player so far?
Yeah, Gahey.
A defender.
Yeah.
And that's, back from the same podcast, defensive coach, been working on defence all the time. Very hard when you're a defensive coach. You played at the back end of the far end of the pitch all your career. Now you've got to come up with passages of play. It's quite difficult. It is quite difficult. It's not as easy as what people think.
And we will get onto the Slovenia game a bit more in a moment. But afterwards, again, Gareth came out and talked about, and one or two of the players I think did as well, the unusual environment. Now, sort of second guessing what he meant was, that the fans were on their backs by the end, that the media have been on their backs throughout. And it's something really he hasn't experienced, has he, during his managerial career? He's had a smooth ride. And in fairness, he's not getting it as badly as England managers of the past have got, even now. I mean, you were in the Graham Taylor team, for goodness sake. What was that like?
Yeah, it weren't good. But I never sat there and thought, oh my God, this is bad. The manager was getting it. The manager was getting it more than anybody. So for me, Gareth's a bright man. He's a clever bloke. These people have made big, big sacrifices. People won't go on holiday this year with their wife and kids. They've chose to go to the Euros. Put that in perspective. People, it's not all give me's. They're not getting all freebies. These people are putting money in. They're missing work. They've gone over there. They've saved up for, I dread to think how long. Do you know what I mean? It's not like there's not like 7,000, 20,000 multi-millionaires out there who can work when they want. And they're entitled 100%. They went out there with the thing, we're going to be entertained. We're scoring goals. We breeze through our group every year. And then it gets to it. And sometimes this is our problem. We never play anybody. Look at the groups over the last how many qualifying. They're poor groups. We just brush aside everybody. When friendlies come, people don't really show their hand in friendlies, and then it gets to the competitive side of the game, and we struggle. And if you look at the other groups of other teams, they've always got someone half decent in their group. There's always two decent teams. We never get that.
I mean, when it comes to those sort of comments about the unusual environment and the criticism, and management and players appear, to have been offended by what some of the critics have said. Are they too protected, in their day-to-day footballing life?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I honestly, I don't know why they're worried. What are they worried about? Do you know what I mean? I look at it and I think, why are you worried what pundits and ex-professional footballers say? That's our job. That's our job. So we have to give an honest opinion. I would love to be on this podcast waxing lyric about England, going how great it is. I told you we'd win it. I told you we'll breeze through and we'll beat these and we've got top players. I can't sit on here and say, oh, it's been great. It hasn't.
And they know that.
Sure, and they do. So why don't they just go and accept it and go, it hasn't been great, but wait, we don't. And this is the other thing. We don't have to peak yet. We're through. We've topped the group. We've done. If we'd have won our last 3 group games 5-0, it makes no difference. No difference. We still play the same team we would have gone and played with our measly 5 points and won the group. I mean, who's won? Has anybody ever won a group with 5 points?
No, I don't know, historically, but this year, 5 points is going to be the lowest winning total.
Unbelievable. Yeah, absolutely. And 1 goal.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
2 goals.
2 goals, sorry.
Yeah. Bellingham scored and Kane scored.
Oh, yeah, of course. My God, that's how bad it's been.
And we've scored so few goals and you can't remember them.
No, I can't. Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. We've gone through, got to peak. This is the time now. We steadily peak. And then by the time we get to the semi-finals, I hope then, everybody's flying. Everybody's got confidence. Because at the moment, it's shot. Players' confidence has gone. Players don't really want the ball. Someone gets the ball, like the defender gets the ball, There's no options. When teams are playing well, Jeff, there's 4 and 5 options. Everybody wants the ball. It was back to Substitution again yesterday. No one was moving. Players get the ball and just stand still, waiting for it. It was like watching a kids' football match. I'll play when I got the ball, but when I haven't got it, it's your turn. And that's what I'm finding with England at the moment. There's no movement. There's no nothing. And that comes down to confidence. Confidence is a big thing.
Well, let's stick with that and stick with the specifics of the game. You talk about no movement. And when there was no movement off the bench, was there? Well, there was, because England subs warmed up for an absolute eternity. Gareth, to his credit, put Maino on half-time, took Gallagher off. But after that, why did it take him so long to make changes when things clearly were not going to plan?
But this is what he's blaming the same position. Trent Alexander plays there. Well, that didn't work. Out you get. I'm going to put Conor Gallagher in there. He plays for 45 minutes. That didn't work. You're out. Mainoo's in. So it's like it's nobody else's fault. It's just them. It's just been Trent Alexander and Mainoo and Trent Alexander and Gallagher's fault so far because he hasn't changed anything else. And Mainoo will play next. I sat on here on the last podcast. I told you what would happen. He'd make one change, and that would be Mainoo. And again, he'll do it again. You might get 2 if you're lucky, and that'll be Palmer for Saka, and Mainoo will come in, and you'll be lucky. And I'm going to be lucky with 2. It won't be more than 2. No way.
See, I look at the substitutions last night and eventually brings Cole Palmer on 71 minutes, does really well.
Yeah.
Anthony Gordon comes on in the 89th minute. Now, somebody tweeted me afterwards and said, it's like a Sunday morning. He said, when you've got to bring a kid on for the last few minutes just because he's turned up. And it was almost like that. I mean, what is he thinking of making a substitution in the 89th minute? And what's the player thinking about it?
Yeah, I honestly, I don't. It's like... It comes across as I don't really want to put him on because if I put him on and he does well, that means he's got to play. it does. Why would you put someone on for the last minute? You just wouldn't do it. It's like, well, I brought you along. You're going to play. You can't say you haven't played in the Euros now. But I just don't. I like him. I think it was crying out for him much earlier than yesterday. Much earlier, where he just can get it, knock it past, bit of pace. This sounds silly. We're paceless at the moment. We're paceless, and that's not England because there's some bright players that play on that football pitch, real intelligent footballers, and that will always beat pace. Your brain, and at the moment, that's not working, and we look paceless. I ain't sure if Harry Kane's fit. I'm not sure, and I only say that, Jeff. There was an instance when one of the balls went down on the halfway line. He went to turn and it just didn't look right. His movement, he's one of my favourite players. At the moment, he looks a shadow.
But when you talk about, Gordon coming on and Cole Palmer coming on and impressing everybody, have they now given Gareth a problem then that he didn't want? Would he just rather have been sitting with the same side that he started the first game?
Oh, of course you would. That means you've won every game. That's what Spain are. Spain, I know Spain rested players, but what I can tell you what their team's going to be in the last 16 because their first 2 games were very good. So, you'd love to pick the same.
So is he afraid of change? Because I can't help but compare it. This week, and it was tough on the boy. Holland are playing against Austria, and Ronald Koeman makes a substitution after 33 minutes. And the boy he took off, Joey Veerman, he was in tears. But Koeman afterwards didn't put an arm around his shoulder. He said, I saw him tripping over the ball, giving the ball away. Being good on the ball is meant to be what his strong point is. So he did that he could see that after 33 minutes. Okay, didn't work. They lost the game. But nevertheless, he was decisive. Is Gareth afraid to do that?
I would say so. We sat on here before. Mourinho was one of the best in the business. One of the best. 30-odd minutes. It's not going well. These managers are all like 60 minutes. 60, 65. I'll start changing it up. You can't do that. You've got to be flexible. For me, the other day, the game against Slovenia, I look at it, Slovenia set up 4-4-2. Why don't he go bang, wallop, crash? We're going 4-4-2. We'll play against you. We'll match you. We have far, far better players than you all over the pitch. Let's play 4-4-2 and we'll open the game up. Because then we're playing 2v2 in midfield. We're talking about Declan Rice and Bellingham being two of the best players in the world in their positions. Let's open the game up, play 2 out wide, play 2 up front, and play. But we don't. We choose to play the way we play, and we congest it, and it gets tight, and their 4-4-2 becomes, it looks like it's 2025 football. It looks like it's like, this is the new way to play. This is 1980s football. 4-4-2. You know, and they've gone out and played it, and we never really looked like scoring a goal, ever. You know, and we got an extra man in midfield. You know, I just don't know why Gareth just didn't say, right, change, right, Declan Rice and Bellingham, you play against them 2 midfield players, or even Gallagher and Rice, Bellingham, you go up, you just drop off of Kane and open the pitch up, but we don't, you know, and sometimes I do worry. Sometimes I do worry what we're watching. We sort of get into this thing of, I don't know if Gareth goes, you know what, I'm just going to keep it at 60 minutes anyway. Whatever happens, how we're playing. To be fair, I felt for Gallagher. I know Gallagher didn't do well, but again, Trent Alexander, now Gallagher. Yeah. You know, and if we play next, well, you can't next time, because if we play bad, we're out. But if it was next time, and then Mainu won't play, and then Walton will play.
So when you were a manager, did you ever take anybody off early doors?
No. I didn't. I mean, not in the league we played in. I mean, if we were 0-0 at half time, I'd be doing cartwheels, let alone bringing people up. No, I've never seen it yet. I've not played in a game where I've seen it at half time, but I've never seen it early doors, and I don't mind that. I think the lad's got to accept it. As Ronald Koeman says, he's good on the ball. He's giving the ball away. You have bad games. You know, these players, and I'll go back, they are human. Of course they're human. And you have bad games. The problem with England at the moment, they're all, bar a couple, like Gay Ian, John Stones has done nothing wrong.
Yes.
You know, done nothing wrong. I think them two have been outstanding, even though no one's attacked us. We're all having it. They're all having them. You know, if you went through them all, bar Bellingham's first 30 minutes in the first game, you know, Saka first 20 minutes was, you start breaking it down after that, it's been 5 out of 10s. And, you know, I thought we'd win it because we could afford players to have off days because we had too much talent. But at the moment, they're all having it at the same time, and that's not a good cocktail.
And you've mentioned Jude Bellingham a few times. And against Slovenia, well, I mean, his stats have been widely publicised. During the course of the game, no shots, no chances created, no successful tackles, no successful passes in the final third, lost possession 16 times. What the heck has happened to Jude Bellingham?
He's 20 years of age. This is probably the first time he's had this in his whole career, and it's at the biggest tournament he's played, you know, a big tournament. The problem is at Real Madrid, he probably gives the ball away 16 times there. But they get it back quickly and they dominate football matches and they just steamroller everybody. It's not the case here, you know, and then he gets his goal here and there, and then all of a sudden no one looks at that. They just go, right, Bellingham scored again. What's it now? 17 in 20 games. But if you look at it, you know, you looked at the final and the semi-final, he gave the ball away a lot in them games and against Man City, you know, but they were winning football matches or staying in the football match. And at the moment, he looks tired. He looks tired. I think, I wonder what they're doing in training. I think they just got to have a little bit of a rest now and charge his batteries, because you don't become a bad player overnight. But when you're a youngster and you lose your confidence, owning experience tells you how to change that. And at the moment, that's going to be hard for him. That is really going to, and it will, because when he gets older and he's 30 and he's, you know, Harry Kane's, you know, his game's not at the moment. His confidence looks a bit short, but he's had it before, Harry Kane, so he won't worry. But with Bellingham, this will be a testing time for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a young man. He's an intelligent man. He obviously thinks a lot about the game as well. I wonder whether he's thinking about it too much. But now this is a big demand on Gareth Southgate, isn't it? Does he keep him in, or dare he leave him out?
The name of the game is to have your best players on the football pitch. Got to have your best players on the football pitch. I don't know how strong the Liga is. I know Real Madrid won the Champions League, but let's not kid ourselves. Man City absolutely destroyed them. I mean, it was cringeworthy. So you can't tell me Real Madrid are the best team in Europe, because they're absolutely nowhere near Man City. So we don't see enough of that Spanish football for us to look at Bellingham's figures and go, you know what, he scored 20 and 25 or whatever.
Yeah. But you said that about Man City and Real Madrid, and yet in the Euros, all anybody ever says is, doesn't matter how you win as long as you win.
Yeah, and that is the case. At the moment, you don't, as I said, 9 points, 25 goals, none let in, wouldn't have made any difference. It wouldn't have made any difference. All it would have done, it would have given the players confidence. And then sometimes you get overconfident. You know, I'm hoping these players with Gareth, and I know Gareth because he was my captain at Villa, and he is one of them, let's show him. You know, he is one of them. When it's up against, he's a fighter. And I'm hoping that the players go, you know what, show him. Let's show him. And I've no question. I still think we win the tournament. I do.
I love your optimism.
No, I do. I know how it works. And these, we don't look like letting in a goal. And I know people will say no one's had a go at us, but there's still concentration levels. You still got to have concentration. I've seen other teams dominate football matches and all of a sudden there's a goal. You know, even the other night, Italy against Croatia, that should never happen. No. Honestly,
but those concentration levels, I mean, I look now, you know, at the two fullbacks, Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier, neither of those have had great tournaments, even if they haven't had to defend much.
But that's the problem with Kyle Walker. He hasn't had to defend. That's his game. You know, for me, he's the best in the business. You know, when we talked the other day about the lad at Spain, the winger Williams, you know, he's been outstanding. He's got no chance against Walker. Got absolutely. If we played Spain, he wouldn't get a kick. He wouldn't know what day it was. That's when Walker's at his best. No disrespect to Walker. He's not the player where you want him to touch the ball more times than Foden. And that's what he's doing at the moment. And this is the problem with England. We got players that are not going to affect the game, touching the ball more times than the players like your Bellinghams, your Fodens, your Sakas, people that are going to affect the game. You know, I don't know the figures, but I expect Gay and Walker have probably touched the ball more times than Foden in the football match. It shouldn't happen when we're dominating games.
We're making a note of the time and the date that you said Nico Williams would not get a kick if he came up against Kyle Walker. Okay, we'll definitely log that.
You know what? If I see Vinicius Jr. not being able to run him, I don't care. I'd have Kyle Walker against any winger in the world. He is Ashley Cole when he used to play against Ronaldo.
Yeah. So look, so many people last night were, after the Slovenia game, they were talking about the impact of Cole Palmer, the impact of Komi Mainu, the impact of Anthony Gordon, albeit for a few minutes. What are the chances of Gareth Southgate starting all three of them in the next game?
I go with no chance. I think definitely Mainu will start and maybe Palmer. Maybe Palmer. But Gareth could look at it and he could come out in his press conference and he could easily shoot you down and go, you know what? He's come on for 20 minutes. All right, he affected the game. It's a lot different coming on as sub as playing. It is so much different. You know, there's not much to lose. You know, the other team were getting tired. So, and Gareth might look at it and go, he done well when he come on for 20 minutes. That helps me because if I put him sub again and it ain't going well, I look around and I go, he comes on. So, and he might think that he could affect a game more than Saka. So, again, Gareth will have a little excuse to say, no, I'll leave him on the bench again.
It would be interesting to see. I mean, it's also, just to take you back to, the fact that England have done well defensively, and they have done well defensively, and Denmark did have a bit of a go at us, but nevertheless, we sort of coped with that. But I can't help but think that before this tournament started, everybody said, we're great going forward. But look at that defence. Doesn't that still worry you?
No, because I think they're quite confident, the defence. I think it's quite confident. You look at it, they've had one. I can't remember really Pickford making a save.
No,
he had the
really.
shot with the shot that went. I mean, I would have saved that. It was probably going over the bar anyway. So he hasn't made a worldy save, or we've gone, oh my God, that was amazing. So that's the defenders will be in their rooms. They'll be confident. Gay can't wait for the next game.
Gay's exceeded everybody's expectations, hasn't he?
And he wouldn't have played. But that's what I mean. He can't wait for the next game. Other players will be thinking, oh my God, here we go. I'm playing again. And they will, because, there's one thing in football, and as a footballer, if you could bottle confidence up, you take that more than anything. Because the other stuff, it happens, but your confidence is horrible. When that goes, it's only experience that brings that back, and it's experienced players. And if you're young players, like some of them are, They will be finding it difficult. No one wants to get booed.
I mean, you mentioned that Gareth is an ex-defender, and maybe that's partly why he's cautious. Steve Clarke is an ex-defender. Was he just too cautious in Scotland's qualifying games or in their group games?
I think the Germany game scared them. I think that scared them when they got smashed there. It was like Switzerland are decent. I thought that was a good result. I thought to come back from that and give Switzerland a game, and I thought they were a better team towards the end of the game. The next game, I ain't sure if they knew what they had to do. I see at the end of the last 10 minutes of the game, Jeff, it opened up and it was like, here we go. But then I see them get a free kick and McGregor picked the ball up and he went, the lad in midfield, and I was like, you need to score a goal. And I remember when the ball went back to the goalie, instead of picking up and throwing it out quickly, he stopped it with his foot and waited. It was really weird. It was like, I just didn't get it. Again, why not leave Adams on?
When he put Shankland on.
And put Shankland on. It's like...
Well, I said that in the Switzerland game, when they were on top, go for it then. And you said, no, wait till the final game. And lo and behold, when it comes to the final game, he still didn't do it.
No, I mean, in the end, then you want to just go bang last 10 minutes and... I mean, they're that far. The ball falls to McGregor and he shoots, he gets blocked and they go up the other end. It's a good goal in the end. But honestly, I tweeted after. I mean, when 10 minutes went up, you could have put 2 days in 10 minutes.
Well, they didn't have a shot on target. A game you've got to win.
And they didn't look like scoring. That was the problem. And that is a worry. But I think the Germany game knocked the stuff out.
I mean, look, there's a lot of things to scratch your head about in terms of some of the division decisions. I mean, James Forrest didn't play a minute, not a minute of any of the games, with his ability and his experience. But just to balance things up a bit, because obviously we'd condemn Steve Clarke for being too cautious, but how much did the big players that Scotland have, and there are only 4 or 5 of them, how much did they let him down?
Have they got 4 or 5?
Yes, I would say so.
I've got name that 5.
Okay. McGinn.
Yeah, I'll give you one.
McTominay.
Yeah.
Well, he plays for Manchester United. That's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah, so does Martial.
We don't play very often.
No, nor does McTominay.
Yes, he does.
No, but I do like McTominay. Go on. I did give you him.
Andy Robertson.
Yeah,
yeah. You're going to argue about Billy Gilmore?
No, I like Billy Gilmore, but I mean, he's not, when we're talking about top, but I like him. And I think, I think I didn't like him keep on coming off. Because if you want to score goals, you've got to keep the ball. And he keeps it ticking over. You've got to connect from the defence to the forwards, got to be connected. England ain't doing that at the moment. But
did those players let him down? They didn't produce. I mean, you could argue with England's players as well, of course. They've come nowhere near their club form.
Yeah, I mean, the Scott McTominay one, I find that out because you want him to get in the box, you want him to burst forward, but if you're playing defensively and he's not going to get in the box, you're taking a bit of his game away, in my opinion. Robinson, can't really remember him getting run ragged, you know what I mean? Gilmore, I thought, done what it says on the tin. He's a good footballer, he keeps the ball, keeps it ticking over. I thought Che Adams, and you could put him in there, you know what I mean? He's a decent player, but I just felt it weren't sticking with him. I think it was too many flicks, and unless you do that, you can't get up the other end of the pitch, and it was bouncing back too quick. Looking back now, Scotland probably if they'd have played 2 up front, could have got further up the pitch and took pressure off. Not the greatest back line in the world.
I mean, he's got them to 2 consecutive Euros.
What they done? No, it's amazing. We've got to remember that. Take away the Germany result, it wasn't that bad. Switzerland a decent team. Hungary ain't the worst team in the world. It was last kick of the game. You take that away. If they'd have played Germany last, I think one of the other results would have been different. You got to remember, I grew up in an era where they were at every tournament and then they went so long without being at one. So credit Jude, they weren't the easiest group in the world and it was a horrible start.
But the counter-argument is it's easier to get to the Euros these days than it used to be. So maybe that devalues that getting to 2 consecutive Euros. I'm really asking you, does he keep his job?
I would say, yeah. I would 100%. I would say they were in Spain's group. So straight away you're out of that. You can't win the group. You shouldn't win the group. Sure. So, and you're in with Norway, who've got Odegaard and Haaland.
Yeah, and they beat them both, by the way.
Beat them both. So, for me, you got to remember that, where they're seeded, it's like, I go back to when we're in our group, we're seeded and we just play a lorry load of average teams. And then we get to the Euros, play some, when we get to knock out decent ones, and we'll go out, or you think we'll go out. But with Scotland, you got to remember, before they even get drawn, there's a team in there that are already qualified and they got to fight for second. So, yeah, fair play. No, he should keep his job. He's brought back, he's got a lot of Scottish fans to 2 competitions where 10 years ago, you'd probably say if they ever got to another competition in our lifetime, they'd have done well.
Yeah, and a lot of those Scottish fans, but they'll have been disappointed by what happened on the pitch. There's no doubt about it. But in 10 years' time, dads will be talking to their sons and saying, remember what a time we had in Munich, or remember what a time we had in Germany.
Exactly, and every tournament's a better tournament when Scotland are there.
Oh,
There's no doubt about that. I give them that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think now... there's more and more teams, the more it goes on, I think. And plus, because they've qualified, they'll probably get seeded again next time and might be in a group where they can qualify again.
So, moving away from England and Scotland, who's impressed you so far in terms of teams?
Spain have done well. They passed the ball well. They passed it, but I still don't see them winning it. Don't see Spain winning it. I liked the way Germany had to come back. I think that's a big plus for Germany. The last 2 games before that, it was too easy. They played their great football, but they had to come from behind. That's a nice recipe to have. So you win 2, come from behind and get a result, and dominated when they went behind. So I like them. Portugal have done well. Yeah. They have done well, but I don't see when it gets to the nitty gritty. I don't see it, in my opinion. I don't see them. My ones that I didn't think were going to do anything are going to be my dark horses now. And people might go, oh, dark horses. Is Belgium.
You think so?
Yeah. Lost their first game. Very good in the second. They were good. Kevin De Bruyne was good. I know people say it was Romania, but look who we've played and we haven't been impressive. So, again, go back to the World Cup. Argentina lost their first game, won the World Cup. I just think Lukaku is an handful. And he's had 3 disallowed goals now. He'd be leading scorer. I just got a feeling about them now. I think they're my danger now. I think France, the kid Dembele, if he had an end product, he'd be the best player you've ever seen.
But he hasn't got an end product.
He hasn't got an end product.
Definitely
so
hasn't.
How he's gone for that kind of money, I do not know.
And Kylian Mbappe's got his first Euros goal, playing in a mask. You ever worn a mask?
No, never. No. To be fair, I don't even think they were around when I was playing. And 2, how would you make one as big as my nose? Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant. I tell you who's impressed me is Austria.
Yeah.
And Ralph Rangnick was a figure of fun when he was at Manchester United.
If I was Man United, I'd be worried. I'd be looking and thinking, that's an inside job, Man United. We blame the managers. Oh, look, Ten Hag ain't good. People say Ten Hag ain't good enough. Oh, Rangnick come in, laughing joke. Really? Look what he's done at Austria. They look like one of them teams that could cause major problems. You wouldn't want to play Austria. Austria and Switzerland, I look at them 2 and I think they're my 2 teams that they could do a Denmark. And it just shows you, with Rangnick's come in and done what he's done, that would worry me if I was a Man United fan. I'd go, whoa, wait a minute. He weren't as bad as what everybody thought he was. So is it the players' attitude and is it the players behind the scenes that are mugging these managers off?
Yeah. And I'm going to pick a player out as well from Austria who was at Manchester United, because Marcel Sabitzer got 7 starts on loan at Manchester United. And I put my hand up. I thought he was useless. And certainly not Manchester United quality anyway. But he's been brilliant for Austria in this tournament.
He's been outstanding. I think they all have, Jeff. I think, he's been outstanding, but they pressed. They've gone after teams. They've gone, go on. If we go after you, like they did it with France, people don't want to get closed down. We watch a game in this day and age where people get on the ball and they pass it and it's lovely and everybody goes like that. When teams start getting into people and they start getting people's heads down and they've got to come up with solutions, it's pretty difficult. And this is the problem they're causing. People think international football, they go out and get the ball and they pass it. Austria have gone the other way. They've gone, you know what, we're just going to close you down. And if you pass through us and you score, we'll clap you. will go, good goal. But they'll have to work hard, and fair play to them. I think they've been out. I love watching them. I think they've been outstanding.
They have, and not surprisingly, given the geographical proximity, there are a lot of Austrian fans in Germany as well, and they've been brilliant too. Look, this is football's greatest, so I thought at this point we'd talk about some of the greatest players at Euros over the years. And the reason that I thought we'd talk about it was because we've probably seen the last of Luka Modric in tournament football, with Croatia held that last minute draw by Italy. I mean, first of all, Modric, tell me what you think of him.
I think he's an exceptional player. I think legends used very loosely in football. I think very loosely, and he's a legend, like an unbelievable player. I go, what he done at Tottenham, but when he went to Real Madrid, I still remember the ball that he played against Chelsea in the Champions League with the outside of his foot last minute or so to Benzema, unbelievable. Just an unbelievable football. I was watching the other night, and I've got Italian in me, so I wanted Italy to do well. Do you know what I mean? But I'm sitting there watching. And
which bit of you is Italian?
My nan.
All right, okay.
So my nan come from Napoli. So.
Do you speak it fluently?
Oh yeah, I just learned English. How am I going to learn Italian? So there's nothing worse, Jeff, than getting brought off and then having to watch. It's horrible, and you can see he was biting his shirt. But the goal should never happen in a million years. There's a minute to go, and it's a great goal, but it shouldn't happen. But yeah, I just felt for him. I felt for Croatia. Fair play to Italy as well, what they did. But yeah, special player. I don't think you'll see too many of them around again. Them players are not. There's not a lot of them players around nowadays.
You see, during the course of that game, it was typical of him that he's had the penalty saved. Donnarumma had a fantastic game, by the way. Well, fantastic game. He's had the penalty saved, but he was quickest afterwards. His reaction to score within seconds really was brilliant. But it begs the question that Croatia are leading 1-0. All they've got to do is preserve that lead. I don't care if Modric is 79, not 39. Why are you taking him off? Why are you taking Kovacic off? You want to keep the ball. And you've taken off two of the best at keeping the ball in the business.
So this is what managers think. They think, right, I'll take the two players off and then I'll put legs on. Legs won't win you anything. You've got to keep the ball.
And you put Perisic on, who's 35.
Yeah, exactly. He don't play. He didn't play for Tottenham since I don't know when. And he was a good player, Perisic, don't get me wrong. But them two, especially Kovacic, who can run the ball, he can, and Italy are having a go. So the problem is by the substitutions, it gives Italy a free go because they're just going to suffocate. They're not going to be able to keep the ball, Croatia, and it's just going to be endless attack. And if you looked, they had opportunities, Croatia, but they couldn't pick the right pass because they didn't have the right players on the pitch to pick the right pass. Sometimes managers, I feel, they make it so complicated, so complicated when you don't have to. It's a simple sport. Keep the ball. If you've got the ball, the other team can't score. It's impossible. But people don't. They think, now I'm going to put on legs and they could just run around. Running around won't get you anywhere.
No.
You need more than that.
No, I think there were certainly mistakes made by the coach, no doubt. By the way, the press conference of that game produced one of the warmest, most endearing moments of the whole tournament so far. I don't know if you heard it or not, but the Italian journalist talking to Luka Modric before he's asked his question has sort of paid this incredibly emotional tribute to all the joy that Modric has brought football fans over the years. And it was wonderful, Modric took it fabulously as well and was so gratified by the fact. Forgive me to our press boys. I couldn't imagine one of them standing up and doing the same thing. And it sounded so much better in Italian as well. Well, you would know that, Merse, being Italian. Obviously, if we're looking at other greats of the Euros, if you like. Ronaldo, 6th successive tournament. We touched on him before. But what about Pepe, who is 41? He's made 20-odd appearances at Euros finals. 41.
In this day and age where the game, is quick. It is quick. The pitches are great. There's no kick into the game's become quicker and quicker. At 41, it's mind blowing. Honestly, I watched him at the Emirates at the end of the season in the Champions League for Porto, he was mind-blowing. And I used to sit there and I used to think, when I used to watch him at Real Madrid, when Spanish football was on Sky, I used to sit there and I think, I'm not sure about this geezer. Dives in, he's a bit rash. But I take that all back. It's been absolutely unbelievable. He's got better and better as he's gone on. Just to look after yourself at that age, Jeff, is some doing. At 41, when we are playing a kid's sport, it's a young man's sport this now. It's, very rare you see anybody really over 32, 33 years of age still playing. That's why we've got to have admiration for Modric, the way he's played over the last God knows how long and playing at Real Madrid. But 41 just takes it to another level. Just to another. And the game has changed in a way where you have to be quick to play at the back now. It's very rare if you're not quick and you're playing at the back, unless you're in an exceptional team. And, they're not exceptional. So if I was Portuguese and I was a centre-half and I was in my 20s, I might be looking for a new job, if I'm being honest, because if a 41-year-old's taking your place, that's a bit worrying.
Yeah, he when it matters, in the games that matters, he always starts. And actually, he usually plays the full 90 minutes as well. It's amazing. Having been in Germany, one of the discussions about the German team is about Manuel Neuer and whether he should still be in goal for them. I mean, it's 18 or 19 years since he made his international debut for them. This is his fourth Euros as well, which is why he qualifies as a Euro great. Do you think he is still the answer for Germany? They've got Ter Stegen waiting in the wings.
It's a hard one. He's very good with his feet. Very good, very comfortable. And that you have to, that's what people look at now, Jeff, more than anything. Goalkeeper, they don't look at goalkeeper. You look at Pope. Pope's probably one of the best shot stoppers in the leagues, but his feet are not as good as Pickford's. And I think Neuer, that's what's got Neuer in the team. I think he's good with the ball. He's comfortable, very confident. Can play further up the pitch as a sweeper sort of thing. It's hard because it's just when there's going to be a stage in this tournament where we're going to sit there and go, Pepe, he's 41. And he will get found out of being 41. And it's the same as Neuer. He's been unbelievable, great goalkeeper. And you pick him because you can't get away from his name and what he's done. But there'll be a time in the tournament where we might sit there, or Germans will sit there and go. And that's the same with Pepe. We're waxing lyric at the moment, but there could be a time in this tournament, if they went and played to Spain and Lukaku got at him, that we go, oh, he's 41. Should he have been playing?
Look, the fifth of the five that I picked out here as sort of stars of the Euros is a fellow who scored again this week, Robert Lewandowski. Okay, twice taken penalty. He scored in 4 successive Euros now. He's 36 in August. I was lucky enough. I remember being at the Westfalenstadion when Dortmund beat Real Madrid 4-1 in the Champions League, and he scored all 4 goals, and it was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen from a player in my life. He's clearly in decline, but he clearly still has the ability to score a goal.
Yeah, and it's the hardest thing to do in the game. It's the hardest thing is to score goals. It is, and he does it better than a lot of people. And even at his age, he'll never lose that. He'll never lose his goal scoring knack. The problem he's going to lose is getting into the goal scoring positions. If he gets into them, he'll score as many goals as anybody. But the older you get, the brain stays fresh, but the legs just can't get there. Do you know what I mean? And that's going to be his problem. Because you look 36, you think, Poland probably go to the World Cup, but not, Poland not a dominant team. If they were like a Spain or a Portugal or a Germany, he'd probably still go because they'll make chances for him to score goals. But with Poland, I'm not sure. But you're right. I think he's top draw. Never be a bad top finisher, but I don't think his legs are going to get him into the position to score them goals in a couple more years' time.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that he scored the penalty. I can't really remember him having any other opportunities in the entire tournament, because he doesn't get that sort of service.
Yeah, he doesn't get it, and that's the problem with Poland. They'll probably need legs up front in the next tournament, and they just have to work hard to try and nick a result. and that's, again, you go back to the positive I could give England is we can play really badly and not lose a football match. Poland, a team like Poland will have to play to their absolute max to get anything out of a football match. And that takes its toll as well.
Okay. I think it's been a wonderful tournament so far, especially if you take away the England matches and the Scotland matches.
Just take England's group away.
England's group has been terrible, hasn't it?
Last night, how could you have 2 0-0 games? I mean, it's 1974 football, 75. It's unbelievable. Even Denmark, you're sitting there thinking, score a goal, you win the group. Now you've got to play Germany.
Yeah.
Might as well have a swing.
How can England, and I know you think they're still going to win, how can they click the switch? Because that's what they've got to do, really, isn't it? To go from mediocre, and that's been flattering, to excelling. Can you do that in tournament football?
Yeah, it just needs a goal. Just a goal or something. Like yesterday, it was a great bit of play. Foden gets the ball, puts it into Rice, goes again, rolls it across. If that's onside, all of a sudden Foden starts wanting the ball. Saka's just scored, he wants the ball. And it just got to get that confidence, an early goal. And I know we scored in the first game early and, it didn't happen for us and all that. But it just needs that. It just might be a goal, an early goal, and it just picks us up. I'm as bullish now today as what I was at the start of the tournament on us winning it. And we haven't done well at the moment, but we have a good draw. And I'd be disappointed if we didn't get to the final now, or at least the semi-final.
Tale of two football lovers: optimist, pessimist. Thanks,
Chelsea
Merse.
fan, Hartlepool fan.
What point are you making there? Thanks very much indeed for that, Merse. And we have reached the end of Football's Greatest Euros. Merse and I will be back on Saturday with a Q&A episode. Send us a question about anything to do with the Euros, football, our careers, whatever you like. Contact us at footballsgreatest@foldingpocket.co.uk or leave us a voice note on WhatsApp. Just call 0203 951 9653. 0203 951 9653. Remember to leave a review and to follow us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Football's Greatest Euros is a Folding Pocket production with BBC Studios.